Hey guys, my name is Ryan.
And my name is Miska.
And welcome to Overwatch Central. So this is the first episode of our advanced guides presented and sponsored by HyperX. In this episode we'll be covering Zarya, providing you with some advanced gameplay tips that should help you become a better Zarya player. We'll begin with some general unsorted tips and then move on into other important aspects of the hero.
Zarya can be worked into almost any Overwatch team composition and be useful to some degree. She's one of the most versatile tanks and has great potential for synergy and setups. First on our general tips list is a positioning trick. Walking up close to enemies often makes them panic and blow an ability or two to protect themselves. Make sure to do this and walk up to them when your self-shield is up and ready for some easy weapon charge. In the same way you can turn Reinhardt shields too by walking up close to him, shielding up and moving around. If the situation allows for it and this is done correctly, your team will be very thankful. Next tip, don't hold the Zarya ult. Sometimes you'll notice me just ulting 2 enemy heroes instead of waiting for a potential 4-man ult attempt and fail at it. You want to secure pickoffs. Getting just 1 hero kill can be a bit inefficient sometimes, but catching and eliminating 2 heroes is definitely enough. Next up, make sure to kill D.Va before ulting, as she can absorb your ult, and Genji can also reflect it, so keep that in mind. Genji is sometimes easier dealt with though when stuck in the ultimate, but definitely make sure that D.Va is dead, as even if she doesn't absorb the ultimate, she can absorb a bunch of damage thrown at her and her team, as she's stuck in the Graviton Surge.
Next up we have some barrier usage tips. You'll generally get better at using your barriers effectively as you play more of her, but these tips will help you progress on the right track. First tip is to just hug corners. You can peek around corners and catch people's attention. After a while walk out, self-shield up and you have a good chance of taking damage and gaining weapon charge. If you're also close to a corner when doing this, you'll also have a safe place to retreat to if your shield is bursted down. Next tip is not to use the barrier preemptively. Go in, take 200 damage, self-shield and then walk out. Your blue shield health regens and you have a bigger chance of taking damage and getting charge of the enemy if they already started shooting at you. Taking shield HP damage and barrier damage is important for tanking reasons too. If you count all shields, Zarya has 800 HP, 200 of which will regen on its own and 400 of which is on the 10 to 8 second cooldown. Don't underestimate the damage she can tank. It's just all about positioning and timing. And last on our barrier tip list is to use your projected barrier as a temporary cover. Shielding people in front of you is preferred, but shielding a Reinhardt with a shield up is not a waste. It's almost always guaranteed energy and you take no damage in the process.
In the last section of this video, we'll be going over some tips for the alternative fire. Zarya's primary fire beam is a little bit more straightforward as it has limited range and simply just deals damage, but the alternative fire has more interesting aspects to it. The scaling damage, AoE damage potential, and knockback effect makes for a very powerful and versatile ability. Check corners with it. You can spam doorways or corners to see if there's an enemy there, or just to poke at them for some easy ultimate charge. This is great for map awareness and control. Next up is shooting the alternative fire at the enemy's feet to put their aim off. You'll get better at this over time and will be able to combine alt fires together for a long chain of knockbacks. Make sure to also use this situationally, as you can create space between you and a Reinhardt that is walking towards you, swinging his hammer, or other enemies that are just looking to get close. Last but definitely not least is to zone out enemies with the alternative grenade-like fire, similar to what Junkrat does with his grenades. You can peek around corners and deny a lot of space or just control a choke. This can get multiple enemies low before or even as they are moving in through a choke. Just keep peeking around corners and poke at them.
And that's it for this time. Thank you very much for watching. That concludes our first episode of our advanced guides presented by HyperX. A big thank you to those watching, and let us know if these tips were helpful. Drop a comment and rating is always appreciated. And do check out HyperX for some awesome gaming gear and subscribe for more Overwatch content. Thanks for watching, take care, we'll see you next time.